Om Shanti and every morning. Life happens and situations happen, and we've been a little bit delayed due to IT issues, but I hope that's not a problem. Still want to go and have a half an hour meditation, and maybe those who were wanting to have the meditation can join later on, as this will be on YouTube live. This is from the Aberdeen.Hindu temple in Aberdeen. The regular Sunday meditation. And today, my name is Astrid, and wanted to speak about happiness, really. Happiness is really something that everybody wants to have. Our brains are wired to experience happiness, because when we experience happiness, then we have a release, and we really start feeling high. We feel very happy, and we feel very happy, and life is good. The sky is blue, and the air is good, and people are smiling, and I'm smiling, and I'm jumping about and being happy, and as such, I embrace everybody, and life is good. Life is good. And in fact, that was my definition of happiness in the past. That you jump about and you're loud, and you embrace everybody, and your heart is jumping about. And then when I started meditating, I became more introspective. I started to become calmer and quieter in a way. And yet there was happiness that was there all the time, that didn't fluctuate, and that was with me all the time. And in fact, I remember being in the wards and doing my daily work, running here, running there. And all of a sudden, one of the nurses said, "Astrid, just stop smiling. I can't stand it." And then I became aware of it, that in a way I had been walking about smiling, being happy. And so I understood that happiness is not something that is nurtured by what is outside. Obviously, it makes it easy to feel happy if there are things that are nurturing you from outside. If I'm given a present, if I'm on a holiday, if people love me and appreciate me, when there are no obstacles or no difficulties, Like, for example, this morning, I could have been very unhappy because somehow things didn't work out as I wanted to. And yet, it still doesn't affect happiness, because happiness is an inner state. And if I manage to stay peace and calm and happy inside, no matter whether there are difficulties or not, then what happens is that I can actually think clearly and see if there's any help I need, and do the right things. And hopefully it might not be how I wanted it to be, but I hope that the outcome is good. And so I can give my very best to do that. And so when we look at our normal work life, there will be difficulties. People might have their opinions. There might be conflicts, disagreements. And yet, to keep my happiness, I need to nurture my own self first. But I also, at the same time, have to look after others and nurture them. But I cannot do that unless I have started nurturing the self. And so, how do I nurture others? Coming from a very quiet place, from a peaceful place, if I actually have compassion, if I have respect and humility, then I will be able to help and support others as well. When I actually create an inner state inside myself, an inner stage where I am peaceful, happy, content, which means that I actually approve of myself and that I know that I'm doing the best I can do, then I actually can maintain my own happiness. So, happiness is something that needs to be nurtured. There are some methods, if I don't feel happy inside myself, I can use to actually create that stage inside myself. So, that approval inside myself, that I feel happy of who I am. And so these methods are very simple. You have heard about them. For example, smile. There's a story of a man who had a very debilitating chronic illness, and he became weaker and weaker, and then he was wheelchair bound, and at some stage he was bed bound, and he was actually quite miserable because life wasn't good for him. And so one day, a friend who had not been coming for a long time, and all his friends actually had left him, came and brought him a book. And the book was entitled The Power of Laughter. And so he actually had nothing to do. And so he thought, well, let me at least try and read this book. And the book encouraged people to start laughing. So he hadn't laughed for a long time, and you need 27 muscles to actually laugh in your face. It's actually quite a muscular an exercise that you have to do. So initially he couldn't laugh really, but he managed to have a smirk, and then from a smirk, a sound, and from a sound, a shy laughter. And then after some time, he was just laughing, and the more he laughed, the more he actually started to improve as well. And his mood started to rise, and his friends started to come back. But it also had an effect on his health. He improved, he got out of the bed, back into the wheelchair, and at some stage, he even walked a little bit. So that's the effect of happiness, really. How that changes our whole internal atmosphere and takes the clouds away from where we are. Another method of actually experience happiness is by giving, because giving is receiving. And so if you go and you help somebody, I had a friend of mine who actually yesterday had a very, very busy day. Morning very busy, afternoon very busy, helping somebody else. And that in itself creates such happiness that friend didn't actually understand that, you had reached your maximum, yeah, and felt tired afterwards, but I'm sure it is a nice tiredness. The other thing is, like, for example, if I've been working really hard the whole day and I'm really tired and really don't want to do much, but then somebody comes and says, come on, let's go and do this. Let's go for a game, or let's do something that you really like. then all of a sudden you have much more energy. Yeah, so there are external things that can give us happiness. Somebody smiles at me, I get a promotion, I'm going on holiday, all of these things. But when I give, the act of giving really releases, that sweetness inside. That in that act of giving, if I give wholeheartedly, if I don't just give because I'm going to be known as somebody who is charitable, I'm going to be known as somebody who is good, and people will appreciate me, and so I will feel good about myself. No, not because of that. But if I give from the heart, if I give wholeheartedly, then there is almost a flow of energy that starts, a flow of energy out of myself to others and then back to myself. And so in the giving, there is the receiving, and they call it the giver's high because it gives you purpose and meaning, and it gives you direction in life. So happiness is based on having these things, finding meaning in life, finding purpose in life, and creating communities that are actually sustaining themselves through the positive interactions that we have. Just now with the coronavirus pandemic, there was a great increase in people helping others, helping a neighbor, going shopping for others, taking them to appointments, doing lots and lots of things. And again, that made people feel happy. There was a lot of things, a lot of communal things that were done, even if it is within the family environment, like cooking together rather than going and buying a ready-made meal, which is easy, but the energy of love is not embedded in that food. I remember once my mother prepared a meal for me before I was returning back to the UK. I had been at home for Christmas, and she cooked it, and I watched exactly, very, very carefully how she did the cooking, and it was delicious, I can tell you. And then she gave me the ingredients to take with me, so I took them with me. And when I arrived back in Aberdeen, I thought, well, I'm going to do this meal. And I did it exactly as she did it. And yet, there was not the same taste attached to it. And so I understood that my mother had put in her love into that food, and that is why it tasted so good. So there's something from inside that we can put into the outside. And so if my internal environment is happy, content, satisfied with who I am, that is something that might require some effort on my side to actually create that stage where I am feeling good about myself. If I'm not, then let me do things for others. And as I do things for others, my happiness will increase. It's about taking positive actions, not just positive thinking, but positive action. Whatever I want to do, let me express it out there. And as I do, I slowly, slowly start to increase my own happiness, my own acknowledgement and agreement of myself. And with that, I will be able to do it in a more direct and targeted way to give happiness. There are sometimes situations with people that they disagree with us. So it is easy to have a positive action, a positive thought, positive attitude towards somebody that is in agreement with us and who supports us and who loves us. So starting with those around us, with our loved ones, with our relatives and our friends. But then we have to extend slowly this circle to those who maybe disagree with us or don't like us or whatever, and also extend that to them. And that is what is often seen in this loving compassion sort of meditations, where I really just start to involve others as well, and even those that have maybe hurt me in the past. Because by creating this happiness, by creating this powerful inner core, we actually start to create like a shield of protection around us. And also our immunity increases, improves, our health improves, our social relationships improve. So on a whole, our life improves. Yeah, so that's what happiness. And for happiness, we don't need a nice car or a perfect house or perfect everything in our life. You know, at the end, we all have the same, and maybe some have a little bit a more expensive one than the other one, but we all have a fork. Somebody might have one out of silver, and somebody might just have a cheap one, but it's a fork. You might have a car, someone may have a Bentley, someone might have a very simple car, but as long as it takes me wherever I need to go, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And then I wanted to also just go a little bit deeper. And it is really the love in our heart that creates that happiness. Yeah, that love in our heart. And how is that love in our heart created? Again, it is the approval of myself. It is the understanding of who I am. But it's also the love that I can create for the people, the things around me. You know, it's an energy that I actually put into everything. I heard something really interesting the other day, and I can understand it. It's that whatever thoughts, whatever the quality of our thoughts is, that energy, that vibration is embedded in the physical part of myself. You know, and it is released from there. And so that's who I then become. Yeah? So I have a real opportunity to make sure that I become the one I want to be. So I'm sure that each one of us wants to be a happy person, satisfied with life, finding meaning and purpose in life, having healthy relationships, and a contentedness. I call it now a contentedness, so that even when things happen, they don't go as I wanted them to go, I feel still happy. My happiness is not affected. It's not me that is the problem. It was the situation. And if the situation can be solved, then that's wonderful. There's a third type of happiness. And however you might perceive the divine, that what is beyond our physical world, that what is beyond my humanness, you know, if you have an understanding of that, then if you have love for that divine essence or being or however you see it, or if not, if you have love for nature, for what you see, for a child's smile, if you keep that love in your heart, then that will create a stage that is based on love, based on happiness. A very powerful stage. And so you have to make time every day, in the morning and also in the evening, to create that stage. And then throughout the day, we call it traffic control. So every so often, I get reminded, yes, that's what I love. That is who I love. And carry that one in your heart. In Hindu mythology, I have that vision of in Delhi, there is this big Hanuman. And his chest is open, it's at the roundabout in Delhi. And he carries God in his heart. Yeah, if I can do that, if I can carry that, what I really love in my heart, and if I can transcend from what is physical into that what is divine, then that will be a subtle energy that is with me all the time. So let us have some reflection and on being happy. So I put some music on, and I invite you to become very quiet inside. Wherever you're sitting, just feel the contour of the place you're sitting all around your body. Take a nice deep breath. Breathe in all those molecules of oxygen that give life to your body. And as you breathe out any tension that there is. So breathe in and breathe out, letting go. Breathe in, giving energy to your body. And breathe out, relaxing your body. You can close your eyes or you can keep them open. However, make sure that you have a spiritual smile on your face. That starts to create that happy feeling inside yourself. Because when the outside reflects the inside or the inside reflects the outside, then there's transparency and we feel true and clean, clear, in harmony. Harmony can be established. Take a nice deep breath and relax again. Slowly create an inner stage inside yourself where you are proof and love of who you are. Perhaps for a minute, just scan your life. Scan from where you have come. What are the things that happen in your life to bring you to where you are? I'm sure most of us have traveled a lot, experienced a lot, and we had courage and determination in bettering ourselves. And when there have been difficulties in the past, either people, situations, accidents, whatever it was, wherever there has been sorrow in the past, just create a lot of love and peace and happiness in your heart and send that to that situation. Forgive that situation. Donate roses to that situation. Roses to forgive and forget. To allow this to be embedded in your past is a milestone on which you're going to stand up to take the next step. Because it was a learning experience. It might have caused sorrow, but it's an experience to take a better step next time and to be successful in your way ahead. So do that for every situation that might have been there. And sometimes there are situations there's nothing we can do about them. Maybe we lose somebody. Maybe nature does this or that. So in your heart, remember that person and send them loving good wishes. Thanks for who they were and what they've done. And become free and free them so that you can move forward in your own life. Take a nice deep breath and let go. See yourself as you are today. And in a way, pat your shoulder and appreciate who you are and where you have reached, what you have done, good or bad. Just send lots of love and peace and happiness to yourself. Imagine yourself just under a stream of water just falling on you. But this water doesn't hurt. It is soft and gentle, fragrant and light. It's the waterfall of appreciation falling on you. And as the water flows over you, it just takes away any tension, any past experience that has been a block. And it leaves you behind soothing, fresh, light, feeling cleansed and happy, cared for. Now look at your world around yourself just now. Are you happy? Is everyone around you happy? If not, then it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to change this and to create a world of happiness. So take a nice deep breath again and let go, releasing any tension and any concept of crisis or difficulty. See the people or the situation in front of you. Stay in your self-respect and send them your good wishes, your love, your appreciation, respect, humbly and lovingly appreciate them. Because for whatever they are, they have created this situation. You might think that they might be at fault, but it doesn't matter. Just forgive and set it aside. Forget if you can. And appreciate them for the lessons that you've learned from them. Because those lessons will allow you to grow. And it's all about creating that growth inside and becoming who you really want to be. So take a nice deep breath again and relax even further. Let your mind forget about those situations. But remember, what is it that you have learned? And what is it that is needed for you to do now? Take a nice deep breath and feel peace inside yourself, light inside yourself, a divine light that comes from far, far away. From a source that is beyond this world. And this light is washing over you, filling and nurturing you with love, appreciation, value, happiness, lightness. And you're in that moment in time that is beyond any physical constraint. In that moment of eternal love and appreciation from the divine. And you relax again. And now, like a volcano, that love that has been stored in yourself exudates into the world, in an unlimited way. It just flows into the world to touch everyone, every being, human or not, every tree, everything that has a life force, and even the rocks and the water and the air, the elements, with a feeling of gratitude and appreciation. The world and making it into a place of love and appreciation, of value. And it is as if this was a boomerang, because this comes back to you. Because in the giving, there is the receiving. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So fill yourself with that peace and that love and send it into the world. And forget, things are small. And forgive. But create that loving heart in yourself and share that with the world. or keep on practicing this throughout the week and see you next week. Om Shanti.